We begin with new details about the Canadian Prime Minister's visit with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. The New York Times reports Justin Trudeau traveled to Florida to discuss Trump's plan to slap Canada with 25% tariffs on all items imported from the country. That must have been a fun conversation. Trudeau had dinner with Trump last night, but did not stay at Mar-a-Lago overnight. The meeting comes just 4 days after Trump threatened steep tariffs on both Canada and Mexico. And it won't just cost our two biggest trading partners. The move could lead to sticker shock for Americans at the grocery store and the gas pump, and even an increase in the price of a new car. Joining us now, former Ohio Congressman and my buddy Tim Ryan. It's such a pleasure to have you at the table.
Great to be with you.
I love the Thanksgiving vibes.
Well, we got a big game today, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yes,
so
you do.
Gotta be ready.
Here's the thing about these tariffs. I almost don't know whether to deal with them on their face as a true economic question or to look at this as a reminder of what the next 4 years are going to be like, where he identifies a problem that's not a problem or a problem that is already being addressed, then claims victory for having solved a problem that never existed in the first place.
Yeah, he's good at that. And I think the tariff thing, I think when you come from Ohio, the industrial state, even down the East Coast, like trade, NAFTA, these issues devastated communities. The factories moved over the border. So the idea of a tariff for a working class person is like, yeah, we got to figure out how to make this system right. But the reality, obviously, is much different. Targeted tariffs on steel dumping from China, that's one thing. Across-the-board tariffs are terrible for the economy and really bad for consumers. But he sees everything through a political lens. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because they're all in charge now.
Right. So let's pick up where the New York Times kind of led us. It said the Mar-a-Lago visit on Friday, which was initially reported by the Globe and Mail newspapers on the basis of tracking Mr. Trudeau's plane, is intended as a direct effort by Mr. Trudeau to show that he has a plan to address Mr. Trump's border concerns and that tariffs should be avoided for the sake of both nations' economies. So he got on a plane and flew down to Mar-a-Lago for what? I mean, look, you do have people in Trump world saying, oh, well, this is just Trump sort of positioning and he's just posturing. He doesn't really mean it. He just wants to draw people out. Look, the man has a 1950s view of our economy, period. He's stuck in that time where tariffs was, for some reason, his thing. What do you, from Trudeau's perspective, what do you think going down there now will achieve for him that just keeping his behind in Canada and dealing with it?
I mean, yeah, you have to go and sit with them. There's no way around it. That's why I think when he got elected, Trudeau was like, oh, God, I got to go down and talk to him. He's the president of the United States. Right. I got to go talk to him. And I think it's just trying to keep that line of communication open. Trump wants to be liked, wants to be loved. And so if he can feel like Trudeau and others, Macron, this will go throughout Europe and the world, they gotta kiss the ring a little bit.
Here's the thing. He's framing this as a border conversation. But as you said, being from Ohio, that's not actually necessarily where you feel the impact of these tariffs. This from the New York Times about the auto industry. The prospect of tariffs is a two-alarm fire for the auto industry, said Patrick Anderson, chief executive of Anderson Economic Group, a consulting firm in Michigan. There's probably not a single assembly plant in Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and Texas that would not immediately be affected by a 25% tariff. I want to just make it real to folks what this means. The amount of produce we get from Mexico. You like your Modelo, you like your Corona. That's going to become more expensive, too. And vehicles, yes, they may not be manufactured in Mexico, but they're often assembled in Mexico. That means your Volvo, your Jaguar is all of a sudden a lot more expensive than it was before.
Terribly inflationary. Yeah. I mean, anybody with Economics 101 can understand that this is going to drive the cost up for people. I don't know if he cares, honestly. Like, I just think he wants
even in an election where that was the reason that people said they came out and voted.
Yeah, I mean, that's the world we're living in, you know, but he's coming in, he's strong, he's going to take on the bad actors. I think the underlying problem here is we have to recognize, at least from the Democratic side, how traumatized people are from the last 40 years of deindustrialization. And until you understand that, you don't understand Donald Trump. But they vote for him because he's the guy that's going to flip this system. And they don't quite understand if it's tariffs, taking on the bad guys, the border. They just know the system has not worked for them, probably didn't work for their parents, and doesn't look good for their kids or grandkids. And so this strong guy stuff, it works.
But what are they flipping it to? I mean, you aptly, framed it as the deindustrialization, and it started with Clinton and NAFTA. And we can go through that whole history, and everybody knows the impact of all of that. But in that time period, we have gone from manufacturing to consumerism. The very people who are upset are more interested in consuming goods than they are manufacturing those goods, particularly given the way our economy is shaping up. So what is he actually offering people that leads them to believe that somehow, like in the coal industry, yes, we're going to send our grandkids back down into the coal mines? Well, that's not happening.
Right.
And the level of manufacturing with its fits and starts, even as we've seen in this current administration's efforts, is limited to some degree because of the nature of how our economies are now rebalanced.
Yeah.
What's the case that's being made to people? What do they think happens with all of this?
I don't think it gets that far. I think it gets to he understands our anxiety, our trauma that we've been through, and any solution is better than what we're currently doing. We dropped the ball because Democrats are reindustrializing the country. Like, this is the first industrial policy this country has had in 40 or 50 years with the IRA, the batteries, the clean energy stuff, the infrastructure bill, and of course the CHIPS Act, which is hitting Ohio. We're going to have a $100 billion investment. We are reindustrializing, and how we let that narrative slip through our fingers.
Yeah, you're not going to get credit for it.
Not going to get. You watch. It'll be 2 months. It'll be like Trump's bringing all these chip manufacturing plants back because he's going to go out and market it. He's going to go out and sell it. So I think it's less to do with this actual policy solution, like the old Carter aide used to say about the Democrats. You show up at a gunfight with a 10-point policy plan. It's not about the policy plan. It's about meeting people emotionally where they are and then leading them to whatever your ideas are. Bill Clinton did it. Obama did it. We've kind of let that slip through our fingers. But Trump does that. He meets you where you are. He channels your anxiety and your angst, and he has very simple solutions to what the answers may be.
So if you are Hakeem Jeffries, if you are whomever it is who ends up, becoming chair of the DNC, what then are you doing?
Well, I think you start with a complete reset. I mean, we need a rebrand. I think you and I have been talking about this since 2016. Like, our brand is toxic in so many places, and it's like, you're a Democrat? Like, that's the stuff we get, like, in Ohio. And so we need a complete reboot. We need a complete reboot with the DNC. We need a complete rebranding. We got to get back established into our values. What does it mean to be a Democrat? People want to trust us. They don't want to go to Donald Trump. I'm telling you, the middle of the road people are like holding their nose to vote for him, but we did not give them enough, like, we're reindustrializing. We're talking about American competitiveness. We're moderate on things like natural gas in Western PA, which ended up being a big issue that we can't even be for natural gas displacing coal. We're in a huge fight with the crypto industry. Like, what are we doing? Why would we be in a fight with the crypto industry right now? We've got to get back to the bread and butter policies of we are the party of the middle class. White, black, brown, gay, straight, man, woman, north, south. If you're a working class person, the Democratic Party is for you. And here's how we're going to build that future. We're going to reshore chips. We're going to build battery. We have a battery plant in Youngstown, outside of Youngstown, 2,000 auto workers. Just got a great contract, $30, $35 an hour, good benefits, good retirement. That's us. We did that. And if we can't reclaim that, and it also means saying no to some of the issues that, like, look, we're with you on these issues, but we have to lead with the economy. We have to lead with growth. The other thing that I think is really big, we can't be for solely redistribution. We're going to tax the bad guys who are rich, which we want people to aspire to make money in America. We're going to tax them because they're really bad people, and we're going to give you money. No, it's about growing the pie. It's getting back to, you want to look at it's the Bill Clinton campaign. It is the modern Democratic campaign. Look at the touchstone, reinventing government. Like, we let Elon Musk and Vivek take on reinventing government. The whole world knows that the American government is broken. Immigration's broken, healthcare's broken, education's broken. Every system that we have is broken. We had no reinventing government plan. And here comes Musk. Oh, we're going to get a rich business guy.
Right, it almost doesn't matter that they don't actually have a plan so much as that they are stating it as a priority.
They're acknowledging the problem, which I think is huge, you know, and so acknowledge that reinventing government, welfare to work, you know, more of a class-based upward mobility system around getting into college and aid, not just race, but class. Like all poor people should have opportunities to get into school. White, black, brown, gay, straight, man, woman. Like we've got to be for everybody. And then I think rebuilding the industrial base in the country appeals to,
I think
to everybody.
One final point on that, and I think is an important one in terms of how you're looking at it. It's because the Democratic Party is largely comprised of a group of constituencies, a bunch of different constituencies. Aligning those constituencies is oftentimes a very ticklish thing to do.
Impossibility.
Impossibility.
The word.
So you need to develop that through line. You need that cord, if you will, that sort of ties all those constituencies. So it's not this issue or that issue above another. It's the thing that connects all of those constituencies to being a Democrat. Because right now, the rest of the country looks at that and it just sees this amalgam of different voices all screaming things that they don't want to hear or they can't identify with. And therefore, that disconnect continues.
Yeah, I think the idea that the world's changing. It's changing rapidly. You can talk about the different technologies. You can talk about the economy. You can talk about trade. You can talk about the rise of any kind of new way of viewing the world. The Democratic Party needs to be the party to say, we know how difficult this is for you, and we're going to help you get through it. And you're going to be able to take your health care wherever you go as the market is shifting. We're going to make sure that, you know, child care is affordable for you and elder care is affordable. Like, we don't
because
just...
people want those things.
Well, but we say, we're going to tax them and we're going to give you this. Yep. That's not what they want. They want, I want to do my own thing. I want to navigate this world, but I need you to help me navigate it. And until we become that party that says, we're with you every step of the way as you and your family are trying to meet this demands of this crazy world with kids, with parents, grandparents, you know, the economy shifting, technology. We want to help you understand that. And we want to give you the skills you need. So it's not a 4-year college degree. Like, we jumped all in with the brand of like wealthy elites when we went in on the college loan. What about, you know, a super Pell Grant for skills, for certifications? You know, we want to help you navigate this world. K through 12 education needs revamped. Honestly, I think we need to, like, I know RFK's got this weird stuff going on. What he is talking about on the food front, on the agricultural subsidy front, spot on. We should probably try to find a couple issues we can work with these guys on, too, so we don't just look like the party that's not for anything.
We're actually talking about that next. And please, to our producers, have a Chiron that says he's got some weird stuff going on.
Breaking it down.
Tim